Rich I by my faith for a poor earl to gie you. I'll doe thee cerwis for so good a gift. War, 'twas I that gaw the kingdom to thy brother. Edward, why then 'tis mine if but by Warwick's gift. War, thou art no Atlas for so great a weight. And weakling, Warwick takes his gift again. And Henry is my king, Warwick his subject. Edward, but Warwick's king is Edward's prisoner. And gallant Warwick, do but answer this. What is the body when the head is off? Rich, alas that Warwick had no more forecast. But whiles he thought to steal the single 10, the king was slyly fingered from the deck. You left poor Henry at the bishop's palace, and 10-1 you lay meet him in the tower. Edward, 'tis you and so, yet you are Warwick still. Rich you come Warwick. Take the time, kneel down, kneel down. Nay when, strike now or else the iron cools. War, I had rather chop this hand off at a blow, and with the other fling it at thy face, then bear so low a sail to strike to thee. Edward, sail how thou canst. Haul wind and tide thy friend. This hand, fast wound about thy coal-black hair, shall whiles thy head is warm and new cut off, write in the dust this sentence with thy blood. Wind-changing Warwick now can change no more. Enter Oxford with drum and colours. War, O cheerful colours, see where Oxford comes. Oxford, Oxford for Lancaster. Rich, the gates are open, let these enter too. Edward, so other foes may set thee upon our backs. Stand we in good array, for they no doubt will issue out again and bid versus battle. If not, the city being but of small defence, we'll quickly rouse the traitors in the same. War, O welcome Oxford, for we want thy help. Enter Mountague with drum and colours. Mountague for Lancaster. Rich, thou and thy brother both shall by this treason. Ewan with the dearest blood your bodies bear. Edward, the harder matched the greater victory. My mind presageth happy gain and conquest. Enter Somerset with drum and colours. Somerset for Lancaster. Rich, two of thy name both Dukes of Somerset, ha sold their leus vnto the House of York. And thou shalt be the third, if this sword hold. Enter Clarence with drum and colours. War, and lo, where George of Clarence sweeps along, of force enough to bid his brother battle, with whom in vipright zeal to right preuils, more than the nature of a brother's low. Come Clarence come, thou wilt if Warwick call. Clara, father of Warwick, know you what this means? Look here, I throw my infamy at thee. I will not ruinate my father's house, who gore his blood to lime the stones together. And set VP Lancaster, why trowest thou Warwick? That Clarence is so harsh, so blunt vn natural, to bend the fatal instruments of war against his brother and his lawful king. Perhaps thou wilt obect my holy oath. To keep that oath were more impiety than Aoife when he sacrificed his daughter. I am so sorry for my trespass made, that to deserve well at my brother's hands, I here proclaim myself thy mortal foe. With resolution whereswhere I meet thee, as I will meet thee if thou stir abroad, to plague thee for thy foul misleading me. And so, proud-hearted Warwick, I defy thee, and to my brother turn my blushing cheeks. Pardon me, Edward, I will make amends. And Richard, do not frown upon my faults, for I will henceforth be no more inconstant. Edward, now welcome more and 10 times more belude than if thou newer hadst deserved our hate. Rich, welcome good Clarence, this is brother-like. Warwa, O passing traitor, period and veniest. Edward, what Warwick? Wilt thou loathe the town and fight? Or shall we beat the stones about thine ears? Warwer, alas, I am not cooped here for defence. I will away towards Barnet presently, and bid thee battle Edward if thou darst. Edward, yes Warwick, Edward dares and leads the way. Lords to the field, St. George and victory. Exeunt. March, Warwick and his company follows. Alarum and excursions, enter Edward bringing forth Warwick wounded. Edward, so lie thou there, die thou and die our fear. For Warwick was a bug that feared these all. Now Mountague sit fast, I seek for thee, that Warwick's bones may keep thine company. Enter. Warwick, who is nigh, come to me friend or foe, and tell me who is victor, York or Warwick. Why ask I that? My mangled body shows, my blood, my want of strength, my sick heart shows, that I must yield my body to the earth, and by my fall the conquest to my foe. Thus yields the cedar to the axe's edge, whose arms gaw shelter to the princely eagle, the ender whose shade the ramping lion slept, whose top branch outappeared isles spreading tree, and kept low shrubs from winter's powerful wind. These eyes that now are dimmed with death's black veil, have been as piercing as the midday sun, to search the secret treasons of the world. The wrinkles in my brows, now filled with blood, were lickened off to kingly sepulchres. For who lewd king but I could dig his graw, and who durst smile when Warwick bent his brow? Lo, now my glory smeared in dust and blood, my perks, my walks, my manners that I had. Ewan now forsake me, and of all my lands is nothing left me but my body's length. Why, what is pomp, rule, reine, but earth and dust? And live we how we can, yet die we must. Enter Oxford and Somerset. Soame, Warwick, Warwick, wert thou as we are, we might recower all our loss again. The Queen from France hath brought a puissant power. Ewan, now we heard the news, couldst thou fly? Warwick, why then I would not fly. Mountague, if thou be there, sweet brother, take my hand, and with thy lips keep in my soul a while. Thou louse me not, for brother, if thou didst, thy tears would wash this cold congealed blood, that glues my lips and will not let me speak. Come quickly, Mountague, or I am dead. Soame, Warwick, Mountague hath breathed his last, and to the latest gasp cried out for Warwick, and said, commend me to my valiant brother. And more he would ha' said, and more he spoke, which sounded like a cannon in a vault, that mought not be distinguished, but at last I well might hear, de leeward with a groan, O farewell, Warwick. Warwick, sweet rest his soul. Fly, lords, and saw your sellows, for Warwick bids you all farewell, to meet in Hohen. Oxf, away, away to meet the Queen's great power. Here they bear away his body. Exeunt. Flourish, enter King Edward in triumph, with Richard, Clarence and the rest. King, thus far our fortune keeps in VP ward course, and we are gracked with wreaths of victory. But in the midst of this bright shining day, I spy a black suspicious threatening cloud, that will encounter with our glorious sun, ere he attain his easeful western bed. I mean, my lords, those powers that the Queen hath raised in Gallia, horror reewed our coast, and as we here march on to fight with Versus, Clar, a little gale will soon disperse that cloud, and blow it to the source from whence it came. Thy very beams will dry those vapours, VP, for Uri cloud engenders not a storm. Rich, the Queen is valued 30,000 strong, and Somerset with Oxford fled to her. If she haw time to breathe, be well assured, her faction will be full as strong as ours. King, we are adwertised by our lowing friends, that they do hold their course toward Tewkesbury. We hoing now the best at Barnet field, will thither straight, for willingness rids way. And as we march our strength will be augmented. In Uri County as we go along. Strike VP the drum, cry courage and away. Exeunt. Flourish, march, enter the Queen, young Edward, Somerset. Oxford and soldiers. Great lords, wise men ne'er sit and wail their loss, but cheerly seek how to redress their harms. What though the mast be now blown our board, the cable broke, the holding anchor lost, and half our sailors swallowed in the flood? Yet lives our pilot still, is't meet that he should low the helmy and like a fearful lad, with tearful eyes add water to the sea, and due more strength to that which hath too much, whiles in his moan the ship splits on the rock, which industry and courage might horse out. Ah, what a shame, ah, what a fault with this! Say Warwick was our anchor, what of that? And Mountague our topmast, what of him? Our slaughtered friends the tackles, what of these? Why is not Oxford here another anchor? And Somerset another goodly mast? The friends of France are shrouds and tacklings. And though Vienne skilful, why not Ned and I? For once allowed the skilful pilot's charge, we will not from the helmy to sit and weep, but keep our course though the rough wind say no. From shallows and rocks that threaten these with wrack, as good to chide the wars as speak them fair. And what is Edward but a ruthless sea? What Clarence but a quicksand of deceit? And Richard but a raged fatal rock? All these the enemies to our poor bark. Say you can swim, alas, 'tis but a while. Tread on the sand, why there you quickly sink. Bestride the rock, the tide will wash you off. Or else you famish, that's a threefold death. This speak I, lords, to let you understand. If case some one of you would fly from versus, that there's no hoped for mercy with the brothers. More than with ruthless wars, with sands and rocks. Why courage then what cannot be ordered? 'Twere childish weakness to lament or fear. Prince, methinks a woman of this valiant spirit should, if a coward heard her speak these words, infuse his breast with magnanimity, and make him naked foil a man at arms. I speak not this as doubting any here, for did I but suspect a fearful man, he should haul low to go away betimes, lest in our need he might infect another, and make him of like spirit to himself. If any such be here, as God forbid, let him depart before we need his help. Ox, women and children of so high a courage, and warriors faint, why 'twere perpetual shame. O braw young prince, thy famous grandfather doth liu agin in thee, long mayst he thou liu, to bear his image and renew his glories. Soame, and he that will not fight for such a hope, go home to bed and like the owl by day. If he arise, be mocked and wondered at. Thanks, gentle Somerset, sweet Oxford, thanks. Prince, and take his thanks that yet hath nothing else. Enter a messenger. Mess, prepare you lords, for Edward is at hand. Ready to fight, therefore be resolute. Ox, I thought no less, it is his policy to haste thus fast, to find these employed. Soame, but he's deceived, we are in readiness. This cheers my heart to see your forwardness. Ox, here pitch our battle, hence we will not budge. Flourish and march, enter Edward, Richard, Clarence and soldiers. Edward, braw followers, yonder stands the thorny wood, which by the Hohen's assistance and your strength must by the roots be hewn yet ere night. I need not add more fuel to your fire, for well I wot ye blaze to burn them out. Do you signal to the fight, and to it lords, lords, knights, and gentlemen, what I should say. My tears gainsay, for Uri word I speak. Ye see I drink the water of my eye. Therefore no more but this, Henry your sour rainy is prisoner to the foe, his state usurped, his realm a slaughterhouse, his subjects slain, his statutes cancelled and his treasure spent. And yonder is the wolf that makes this spoil. You fight in Eostis, then in God's name, lords, be valiant and you signal to the fight. Alarum retreat excursions, exeunt. Flourish, enter Edward Richard Queen Clarence Oxford. Somerset. Edward, now here a period of tumultuous broils. Away with Oxford to Hames Castle straight. For Somerset off with his guilty head. Go bear them hence, I will not hear them speak. Ox, for my part I'll not trouble thee with words. Soame, nor I but stoop with patience to my fortune. Exeunt. So part we sadly in this troublous world, to meet with I in sweet Jerusalem. Edward, is proclamation made that who finds Edward shall have a high reward and he his life. Rich it is, and lo where youthful Edward comes. Enter the prince. Edward, bring forth the gallant, let verses hear him speak. What can so young a thorn begin to prick? Edward, what satisfaction canst thou make for bearing arms, for stirring VP my subjects, and all the trouble thou hast turned me to? Prince, speak like a subject proud ambitious York. Suppose that I am now my father's mouth. Resign thy chair, and where I stand kneel thou, whilst I propose the selfsame words to thee, which traitor thou wouldst hear me answer to. That thy father had been so resolute, rich that you might still ha worn the petticoat, and near horse Stalney the breach from Lancaster. Prince, let Aesop fable in a winter's night. His currish riddles sort not with this place. Rich, by hoe and brat, I'll plague ye for that word. Thou wast born to be a plague to men. Rich, for God's sake, take away this cap to you scold. Prince, nay, take away this scolding crook baccy, rather. Edward, peace wilful boy, or I will charm your tongue. Clar, vien tutored lad, thou art too malapert. Prince, I know my duty, you are all vien dutiful. Lascivious Edward, and thou period George, and thou misshapen Dick, I tell ye all. I am your better traitors as ye are, and thou usurpst my father's right and mine. Edward, take that, the likeness of this railer here. Stabs him. Rich Sprolsty, thou, take that to end thy agony. Rich stabs him. Clar, and those for twitting me with periuri. Clar stabs him. Kill me too. Rich merry and shall. Offers to kill her. Edward, hold Richard, hold, for we ha done too much. Rich, why should she leave you to fill the world with words? Edward, what doth she swown, VSE means for her? Recowery. Rich, Clarence, excuse me to the king my brother. I'll hence to London on a serious matter. Ere ye come there, be sure to hear some news. Clar, what? Rich, tower the tower. Enter. Ned, sweet Ned, speak to thy mother, boy. Canst thou not speak, O traitors, murderers? They that stabbed CSR shed no blood at all, did not offend, nor were not worthy blame. If this foul deed were by to equal it, he was a man, this in respect a child, and men ne'er spend their fury on a child. What's worse than murderer, that I may name it? No, my heart will burst, and if I speak, and I will speak that so my heart may burst. Butchers and villains, blowdy cannibals, how sweet a plant haw you vien timely cropped. You haw no children, butchers, if you had. The thought of them would haw stirred VP remorse. But if you a chance to haw a child, look in his youth to haw him so cut off. As deathsmen you horrid this sweet young prince. King, away with her, go bear her hence perforce. Nay, newer bear me hence, dispatch me here. Here sheath thy sword, I'll pardon thee my death. What, wilt thou not? Then Clarence do it thou. Cla, by Hohen, I will not do thee so much ease. Good Clarence do, sweet Clarence do thou do it. Cla, didst thou not hear me swear I would not do it? Aye, but thou visest to forswear thyself. 'Twas sin before, but now 'tis charity. What wilt, why not? Where is that Deal's butcher Richard? Hard forward Richard, Richard, where art thou? Thou art not here, murder is thy almis deed. Petitioners for blood, thou ne'er putst thee baccy. Ed, away I say, I charge ye bear her hence. So come to you and yours as to this prince. Exit Queen. Ed, where's Richard gone? Cla, to London all in post, and as I guess, to make a bloody supper in the Tower. Ed, he's sardine if a thing comes in his head. Now march we hence, discharge the common sort, with pay and thanks, and let's away to London, and see our gentle Queen how well she fares. By this I hope she hath a son for me. Enter Henry the Sixth, and Richard with the lieutenant on the walls. Rich, good day my lord, what at your book so hard? Hen, I my good lord, I should say rather. 'Tis sin to flatter, good was little better. Good Gloucester and good Duel were alike, and both preposterous, therefore not good lord. Rich, sirrah, low verses to Arcellus we must confer. Hen, so flies the reckless shepherd from wolf. So first the harmless sheep doth yield his fleece, and next his throat, vnto the butcher's knife. What scene of death hath Roscius now to acty? Rich, suspicion always haunts the guilty mind. The thief doth fear each bush an officer. Hen, the bird that hath been limed in a bush, with trembling wings misdoubteth Uri bush. And I the hapless male to one sweet bird. Or now the fatal obecked in my eye, where my poor young was limbed, was caught and killed. Rich, why what a peewish fool was that of Crete, that taught his son the office of a fowl, and yet for all his wings the fool was drowned. Hen, I Daedalus my poor boy Icarus, thy father Minos that dented our course, the sun that seared the wings of my sweet boy, thy brother Edward and thyself the sea, whose Inuius gulf did swallow vp his life. Ah, kill me with thy weapon, not with words. My breast can better brook thy dagger's point, then can my ears that tragic history. But wherefore dost thou come? Is't for my life? Rich, think'st thou I am an executioner? Hen, a persecutor I am sure thou art. If murthering innocents be executing, why then thou art an executioner. Rich, thy son I killed for his presumption. Hen, hadst thou been killed when first why didst presume? Thou hadst not lewd to kill a son of mine. And thus I prophesy that many 1,000, which now mistrust no parcel of my fear, and many an old man's sigh, and many a widow's, and many an orphan's water standing eye, men for their sons, weeus for their husbands, orphans for their parents' timel's death, shall rue the hour that ewer thou wast born. The owl shrieked at thy birth, and Ewell seen. The night crow cried, aboding luckless time. Dogs howled, and hideous tempest shook down trees. The rowan rooked her on the chimney's top, and chattering pies in dismal discord sung. Thy mother felt more than a mother's pain, and yet brought forth less than a mother's hope. To wit, an indigested and deformed lump, not like the fruit of such a goodly tree. Teeth hadst thou in thy head when thou wast born, to signify thou cam'st to bite the world. And if the rest be true which I haw heard, thou cam'st rich, I'll hear no more. Die prophet in thy speech. Stabs him. For this amongst the rest was I ordained. Hen, I and for much more slaughter after this. O God, forgive my sins and pardon thee. Dies. Rich, what will the aspiring blood of Lancaster sink in the ground? I thought it would haw mounted. See how my sword weeps for the poor king's death. O may such purple tears be always shed from those that wish the downfall of our house. If any spark of life be yet remaining, down, down to hell, and say I sent thee thither. Stabs him again. I that haw neither pity, low, nor fear. Indeed, 'tis true that Henry told me of. For I haw often heard my mother say, I came into the world with my legges forward. Had I not reason, think ye, to make haste, and seek their ruin that usurped our right? The midwife wondered, and the women cried, O Jesus bless these, he is born with teeth. And so I was, which plainly signified that I should snarl and bite and play the dog. Then since the hounds haw shapped my body so, let hell make crooked my mind to answer it. I haw no brother, I am like no brother. And this word low which greybeards call dewine, be resident in men like one another, and not in me, I am myself alone. Clarence, beware, thou keepst me from the light. But I will sort a pitchy day for thee. For I will buzz abroad such prophecies, that Edward shall be fearful of his life. And then to purge his fear, I'll be thy death. King Henry and the prince his son are gone. Clarence, thy turn is next, and then the rest. Counting myself but bad till I be best, I'll throw thy body in another room, and triumph, Henry, in thy day of doom. Enter. Flourish, enter King, Queen, Clarence, Richard, Hastings, nurse, and attendants. King, once more we sit in England's royal throne, repurchased with the blood of enemies. What valiant foemen, like to autumn's corn, haw we mowed down in tops of all their pride. 3 Dukes of Somerset, threefold renown, for hardy and undoubted champions. 2 Cliffords as the father and the son, and 2 Northumberlands, 2 Brower men, near spurred their coursers at the trumpet's sound. With them the 2 broad bears, Warwick and Montague, that in their chains fettered the kingly lion, and made the forest tremble when they roared. Thus haw we swept suspicion from our seat, and made our footstool of security. Come hither, Bess, and let me kiss my boy. Young Ned, for thee, thine Viancicles, and myself, haw in our armours watched the winter's night, went all afoot in summer's scalding heat, that thou mightst repossess the crown in peace, and of our labours thou shalt reap the gain. Rich, I'll blast his harroust if your head were laid, for yet I am not looked on in the world. This shoulder was ordained so thick to hoe, and hoe it shall some weight or break my baccy. Work thou the way, and that shalt execute. King, Clarence and Gloucester, low my lowly queen, and kiss your princely nephew brothers both. Cla, the duty that I owe vnto your majesty, I seal vpon the lips of this sweet babe. Cla, thank noble Clarence, worthy brother, thanks. Rich, and that I low the tree fro whence why sprangst. Witness the lowing kiss I gie you the fruit. To say the truth, so Eudes kissed his master, and cried all hail, when as he meant all harm. King, now am I seated as my soul delights, hawing my country's peace and brother's lows. Cla, what will your grace haw done with Margaret? Reynard her father to the king of France, hath pawned the Sicils and Jerusalem, and hither haw they sent it for her ransom. King, away with her and waft her hence to France. And now what rests but that we spend the time with stately triumphs, mirthful comic shows, such as befits the pleasure of the court. Sound drums and trumpets, farewell so or annoy, for here I hope begins our lasting age. Exeunt omnes. Finis.